Hello everyone and welcome back to Football Manager 2020 and another episode of our series with Ajax as we try to become the greatest manager of all time. And as you can see, we're off to a pretty good start this season. We've won every game, including every friendlies, including the Super Cup 5-1 against AZ Alkmaar, which we saw last time out. 2 goals from Martinez, own goal from the keeper for AZ Alkmaar, then Barrow and Zaracho with the goals. We also kicked off our Eredivisie campaign with a 4-1 win over Breda Veltman, 2 for Tadic and 1 for Zaracho. Since then, we've played 3 more Eredivisie games, and we have beat Wilhelm 5-0. If we watch the goals from this game, you'll see Dusan Tadic really on it for the first sort of 10 minutes and last 2 minutes of the game. Rest of it just sort of passed him by, but Silva was on the attack, no Edouard because of the Olympics. Shot blocked, Tadic there with the free rebound into the empty net for 1-0. And then Barrow sent the ball out wide to David Neres, beat the defender, had him on toast. Ball saved by the keeper, but Tadic is there for another tap-in. Third goal on the half-hour mark. Wijnaldum picking it up here, put it through, and Fabio Silva able to just run onto it and tuck it into that bottom corner. His first goal for the team. And then Tadic here laid it off for Zaracho. Ball across, David Neres with the header at that near post, showing why we kept him in the side. And then nothing until the end when Tadic had a penalty. A player was just shoved over in the box off the ball. Very strange penalty to be given, but it did come through. Now this game looks closer than I think it really was. Finished up 4-3. You'll notice the pattern of this game is not entirely unexpected. We go into a pretty good lead. Blint here with the ball on the left flank, cutting inside, ball across, and it's gone in. Daley Blint does not score many goals from mazy runs like that. Tadic then put it in, Alvarez with the header. We're 2-0 up, 17 minutes in. Second half begins. We pretty much put the game to bed quite early here. Zaracho to Barrow, and an excellent finish. Their keeper pretty poor for a lot of this. Barrow then over the top. Then Traore. We're coming up towards an hour of gameplay. David Neres heads that one in, and that's 4-0. And then suddenly, last half an hour, Jordi Clasie puts the ball in, comes down to Boadu, and he finds a goal back for AZ Alkmaar. A few minutes later, Windal, ball across, comes to Bosnic, then Svensson with a stunning finish, beating Onana at his near post. 15 minutes left to go in the game, and they pull it back to 4-3, and I'm getting flashbacks as a Newcastle fan. Good flashbacks to Czech Tiote's 4-4 equaliser against Arsenal from 4-0 down to 4-4 at full time, but fortunately we did manage to hold them out. And what really reassured me was that the body language from the players was assured. We'd gone from 4-0 up to 4-3, and normally you'd get anxious, nervous, anything like that, and instead it was just assured. Everybody was totally comfortable with the fact that they just conceded 3 goals and that they were still going to win, and that really speaks to the mentality of the players that we've got, and their ability, their strong mentality, their ability to just bounce back when surprising things like that do happen to them. And it's why I'm hopeful we can go on a really long run. This game was a little bit frustrating, but luckily early in the second half, that ball in just nodded in at the back stick from Edson Alvarez, and it dragged us over the line for a 1-0 win. We were never in danger in that game. It was just a case of being frustrated. Edouard did miss a penalty in that match. He's not yet scored. He's only played a couple of games, to be fair, since coming back for the Olympics. And we're hoping that today, against Feyenoord, he can get the goal to get us through. So today we are going to take on Feyenoord away. They're currently in 4th place. They've already dropped some points. PSV currently our title challengers. They are level on points with us if we look at that competition screen. Utrecht and Feyenoord just behind them. So I'm hoping we can get a win here and kind of kick Feyenoord out the title race a little bit if we can. Then we've got VVV Venlo, and then we've got Juventus in the Champions League to start off away from home. We've also got Borussia Dortmund in that group. It's going to be a really, really tough group. We're going to have to be on our absolute A game to get into the knockout stages again. Krasnodar rounding it out. If we can get a result away from home against Juventus, we're then on a good place. Home against Borussia Dortmund, I think we should be winning them. That game we did beat them in a pre-season friendly, or in a friendly not too long ago. I think it was the winter break friendly last year, and then Krasnodar should be 2 easy wins. So if we get a draw against Juventus, beat Borussia Dortmund, and then 2 wins against Krasnodar, 10 points, we're through. It doesn't matter what happens in the last 2 games, but that is looking very far ahead. So for today's game, to start off with, we do have Edouard and Tadic back up front leading the line. David Neres and Sriracha on the wings. Wijnaldum in the middle for Barrow. Then Blint, Diaz, Alvarez, Mazraoui and Onana in goal. The team pretty much the same team as last season. Just Wijnaldum in for Donny van der Beek. And given Wijnaldum's in for free on a loan and Donny van der Beek went out for £70 million, I'd say that's a pretty fair trade. Also worth saying, which I forgot to mention, no transfers. I can't find anyone. There's nobody that I think is worth the money out there at the moment, which is a little bit frustrating because we've got money to spend but nowhere to spend it, and I'm not just going to waste 60 million on a backup player on the bench. So we'll keep our eyes open. Maybe in January you can strengthen going into the last stage of the Champions League as Neres comes in and is tripped and we get a penalty 10 minutes in. So this is going to be very helpful for settling the nerves and hopefully putting us ahead. I think it'll be Tadic to take it, so I don't have to worry about Edouard missing necessarily. So let's see, Leroy Fair there, the former Fulham player, just tripping up our man in the box, and we do get a penalty now. There it is, confirmed by VAR and the referee. So Tadic, absolutely on fire so far this season in the Eredivisie. He steps up, Dusan Tadic, and he sends the keeper the wrong way. It's 1-0, his 6th goal of the season, only his 5th league game. He really has just been tucking them home for fun up to now. A very good penalty. Not quite side netting, just in the corner of that back of the net there, but a very nice finish, and we do have an early lead. We just need to see the game out now, but Haps is going to try and do something about that. He puts it in, and Senesi with an absolute bullet of a header there into that bottom corner. Maybe Senesi is someone I should buy because he always seems to do well against us. Haps with the ball in. He's peeled away from the man on the near post there, Senesi, and running backwards, jumping like that and getting power to bullet a header into the bottom corner. Very, very impressive. But it does mean we're pegged back, and it's quite an even game at the moment. I'm going to try and demand a little bit more from the players, see if we can get them moving along. They seem to be focused. Now we have a free kick. Neres in. Tadic is there, but he's put it over the top. Normally pretty good from those sort of set pieces, so a little bit disappointing there. Now we'll try to inspire the team. They have had to make a change. Balabi on for Jorgensen, who picked up a knock. But going into half time, it's all square. We have been the better team, but we should be winning this match. We should not have conceded from that corner from Senesi. Few players picking up yellow cards. This game's getting a little bit tasty in the tackle. Not so much in the actual gameplay at this point. I think we've got a few players underperforming out there. Daily Blink can come off. We'll put Brandon Williams on, the on-loan player from Man United. We can also maybe take Sriracha off. Bring Justin Kluivert on for a little bit and see if he can inspire us. He's already made one sub-appearance for us, but nothing major by way of contributions. But Edouard has got in, he finds David Neres and it's off the crossbar. I just knew as soon as that ball was put across by Edouard, Neres was not going to get the finish from there. We are heading into the last 20 minutes, so we need to demand a bit more from the team. Maybe think about another change sometime soon. Haps has lost out to Edouard, who is fighting for the team. He's not in the goals yet this season, but he is scrapping away there. Thomas back to the centre-back, now Toonstra. Out wide to Karsdorp, tackle goes in and is missed by Brandon Williams. And Karsdorp has run through and scored a goal that we should not be conceding. And Brandon Williams there really letting the team down, diving in like that. Absolutely unacceptable. I mean, he's so far out of the box there as a left-back. You just hold your shape, keep in line with the team, and instead he's allowed a huge breach on that last side of defence for Karsdorp to exploit, take his time, pick a bottom corner, and give Feyenoord a lead. And I think it's time to take Edouard off. He's just not quite up to scratch at the moment after the Olympics, probably a bit tired. We're going to have to tell him to get creative in a minute because we're not quite there. Mazraoui putting the ball in, and Billow just comes out to take it. This would be a really bitter defeat if we lost it here. The same thing happened last season with Utrecht. Pretty much the same game as well. I think it was game 5 where we lost to Utrecht. But here's Justin Kluivert trying to do something about it. Puts it in. Fabio Silva lays it back to Barrow. Tadic is there. He's going to be offside. He's going to be offside. Flag goes up. VAR rather goes up. And it is ruled out for offside. Team just needs to keep pushing. Not a lot I can do now. Just leave them to their mercy. Toonstra with a free kick. Could he make it 3-1? He's put it wide. So we have just a couple of minutes left here. I'm not going to go very attacking. It never works. But it looks like time's running out. And there you go. A very, very disappointing defeat to Feyenoord. And it means that we fall down to second. Feyenoord a point ahead of us, and there are teams with games in hand who can go above us. We could end up being fourth at the end of this game weekend. A very frustrating way to give up our lead there and give up our unbeaten run as well. Now, Newcastle are in for Edouard. They want to talk about a £79 million bid. I am willing to listen. I mean, he does have 17 finishing, but so far this season he has not scored and he has not put in the appearances. So I would be tempted. £70 million for him. I think we could get a decent striker for that. But what we need to do now is worry about the last day or two of the transfer window, see if any opportunities come up. Otherwise, we'll play VVV Venlo, and then we have Juventus away from home to end the episode. Well, the transfer window has come and gone, and following that defeat to Feyenoord, we did go out and play again in the Eredivisie. I was going to record that one, but I thought actually I'm just going to jump into it because Venlo, not a particularly difficult team as it proved on the day with a 7-0 victory. But starting off with the transfer window, very interesting final day. You'll notice the transfer budget and wage budget have both gone down, which means we've brought somebody in. But I did try to sign 3 players. After what I was saying, I identified 3 players that I thought could really make a huge difference to the club. One was Kaglar Sayuncu, who I've managed recently in a save before I came back to YouTube with Arsenal, and he was fantastic. He stayed with me there for nearly a decade as a really good central defender using this tactic, so I thought he could be a really good player to bring in. I went in for a £35 million bid. Now, this is all happening on deadline day. A £35 million bid rejected. A £40 million bid accepted, but only if I let them bring in a transfer to replace him first. So I tried to get around that by putting in a bigger offer, but then they wanted 80 million or something, so I went back in and got the offer accepted for 40 million pounds as soon as they got a replacement, which inevitably they did not. I then went in with a 30 million pound bid without a replacement, which they accepted, and then we ran out of time. Midnight went past and the deal was cancelled because we weren't able to do it in time. So that was all very frustrating. I then tried to sign him immediately after the deadline and they wanted £150 million. So this turned out to be a little bit of a failure. I'm still interested in bringing him in because he's a fantastic central defender. Those stats are so consistent. And he's got everything else you could want from a defender. He's extremely good. When you look at his career stats as well, up by that 7 rating despite not playing every game. I mean, he's not even playing every game, so I don't know why they won't let me sign him. But one transfer did go through, and if we have a look at the squad, you'll see who we've brought in. Down here, we have found an absolutely excellent signing in Leon Bailey. £50 million we got him for, which is an absolute steal given that he is a proper wonder kid in this game and really goes on to become one of the best players in the game. I mean, his season, even here at Bayer Leverkusen, 8 assists, 3 goals, 7.18 rating and then 7.3. He's already doing business for us, played in the Venlo game and was fantastic. But these stats, he can also play as a winger up on the right, which is our preferred place for him. And he's just got absolutely exceptional physicals, but also that flair is really important. His technique, his dribbling, crossing. It's only really his passing and maybe the anticipation that let him down. But as a winger, he's not going to be shooting that much. That crossing is what's important instead of the passing. So he's an absolutely amazing steal for £50 million. The other player I tried to sign was Leon Goretzka. I had a £70 million bid accepted for him. But he wanted way too much in wages, would have broken the wage structure, so that one didn't go through. And I thought if we brought those players in, number one, it replaces Hakim Ziyech out on the right through Leon Bailey. Leon Goretzka as well would have been a perfect replacement for Donny van de Beek alongside Gini Wijnaldum with Barrow in there. Signing Bailey also allows us to put Zaracho back in central midfield where he played last season. And I thought Sayuncu would have just complemented Ruben Dias really well in central defence and just given us such a strong foundation for 2 or 3 years. So I'm not going to give up on Goretzka and Sayuncu at this point. I'll keep my eye open in the January transfer window and ahead of that to see if we can maybe bring them in. But we went out looking for a bit of revenge, or at least redemption, against Venlo following that Feyenoord defeat, and boy did we get it. Dusan Tadic is continuing his exceptional goal scoring from last season into this one. So early off, Leon Bailey actually forced the defender into a mistake. Edouard won the ball, set up Tadic, 20 seconds on the clock, we're 1-0 up. We then had a penalty which Tadic buried in that bottom corner for 2-0. And then Leon Bailey again winning the ball, charging forward down the right, puts it forward, and Edouard gets his first goal of the season with 3-0 up. Now David Neres on the attack, very good goal this one. He just runs it himself, comes into the 6-yard box and tucks it home for number 4. Then Lee Catamol for some reason playing in Holland. David Neres though again, repeat of the last goal pretty much, winning the ball, running forward, slotting it home. Danny Blind with a long throw, Edouard's in there, touches it in for number 6. And then late on, Williams down the line, Kluivert tips it across, it's cleared away, but Tadic with the header gets his hat-trick. A very good performance from him. But today we have a very different challenge in that we have to go to the old lady and play Juventus in the Champions League. So we're going to be playing with Edouard and Tadic up front, that's no surprise. Neres and Bailey, very good on the wing. Zaracho back in central midfield alongside Barrow, with Blint, Diaz, Alvarez, Mazraoui and Onana. Just going to see how much benefit we get from swapping these around. Exactly, they're both now perfect. So this is what we're going to go with and see how we can do against this very strong Juventus team. They've got Ronaldo and Higuain up front, 2 up front, Ramsey, David Silva, Rakitic, Fernandinho, Sandro, Chiellini, Bonucci, Danilo, Szczesny. It's a really good team, and we are huge underdogs, so let's just go with that and see how we can do. So Juventus, not a team we've played yet. Going to be interested to see if we can hold our own, especially away from home. We need to get a result to set ourselves up for the rest of this group stage. Leon Bailey here with a free kick, puts it in, cleared away by Szczesny, but Zaracho is out there. He takes it down the right, he's very comfortable there, but it's a good save from Szczesny there, jumping across and plucking the ball out the mid-air. So at the moment we seem to be on top of the game. We've got the possession, we've got the stats, we've had the first highlight. Juventus seem to be struggling. It's a really unusual formation they've gone with as Rakitic puts the ball in and Bonucci there. So it was Chiellini who headed it back across and Bonucci just nodded it in at that far post to make it 1-0. A very disappointing way to go behind to Juventus as well, to do it with the 2 centre-backs combining to make it 1-0 from a corner. But we've got time. Blint puts it in, cleared away. Alexandro now can counter-attack as he finds Silva. Cristiano Ronaldo over the top, but Ruben Diaz intercepting. Alvarez pressured into sending it back to Onana. He plays it out to Ruben Diaz. Barrow forward to David Neres. Little run through the middle of the entire Juventus team. Well, he was trying to do what he did last time, but didn't quite commit all the way to the 6-yard box. Here's Blint with a long throw. Oh, Szczesny's not got there. It's come out to Zaracho. Now Barrow. Szczesny now comfortably back on his line as Blint has it on the left flank. Holds it up, swings it in, and Leon Bailey. Denied by Szczesny on the line. What a goal that would have been. What a first goal. If it had gone in there for Leon Bailey, who's pretty anxious at the moment for some reason. Here's Barrow out wide to Leon Bailey. Aaron Ramsey's got a knock as Bailey goes for goal and puts it high and wide. Maybe not the best decision making there from Leon Bailey. Now Borussia Dortmund do have the lead against Krasnodar. That's not unexpected, but it shows the challenge we're up against if we don't get an equaliser here. Barrow over to Bailey, though he's got Edouard ahead of him. If he can pick the pass, Bailey is still going. He's tackled, he's lost it, and Silva clears it. Now Barrow to Blint, David Neres. Down the line for Tadic, back out to Blint, bit of space for him. Puts it across, and there is Mazraoui, who does score. That is not something we see often. Mazraoui with a stunning goal there. Blint with the ball across, the fullback to fullback, so that Juventus' 2 centre-backs combined for the goal. Now our 2 fullbacks have combined for a goal. What a back 4 they would make as a team. Who needs strikers when you've got defenders like these? Wonderful finish from Mazraoui, his first goal of the season, and we are back on level terms. And not only are we back on level terms, we're the better team at the moment. Mazraoui with a long throw. Szczesny does claim this one. We just at least need to make it into half-time without conceding here. If we can get a good attack, that's wonderful, but let's not really go for it here as Ronaldo It's tackled by Mazraoui. It's not a penalty, but it's come for Danilo, and luckily Onana just has to take the ball in front of his face. He then launches it out for David Neres, who's got a bit of space here. Great counter-attack. He puts the ball across. Bailey is in there, but it's come out to Edouard. He puts it across. David Neres, they just seem to be playing between themselves. Blint through to David Neres. Tackle goes in. Now Tadic does finish it. Goal number 10 already for Dusan Tadic. He's got 9 in the league. Currently joint top scorer in the league after 6 matches with 9 goals. But David Neres here just backheeled it to Blint. Wonderful little play, cutting the midfield and defence in half. Tackle goes in, but he still has it. And Tadic, unmarked, able to tuck home under Szczesny. And we've come from 1-0 down to 2-1 up in Cristiano Ronaldo's own backyard. Absolutely sensational stuff. Danilo across to Bonucci. Now Fernandinho forward. It comes to Ramsey. Ball out wide. Danilo. Surely we can't concede now. We haven't. Blint forward. 1 minute of time left in this first half. We just need to see it out as the ball's sent all the way back to Szczesny. Rakitic out wide to Sandro. Oh, I thought we were going to steal the ball again. Instead, it's come across to Danilo, and that's really disappointing. Again, it's another defender scoring. Danilo with the goal this time, but very frustrating to go behind like that. Again, it's the 2 fullbacks, so all 4 of their defenders have now been involved in goals. 2 of ours have. We just need our centre-backs to combine from a corner, and they will all have had goal contributions. It's an excellent finish again from the fullback in this game, but it means it's now 2-2. Absolutely pulsating match. But that's not what we want. We want a good result. I can't believe the team have responded well to that criticism. Aaron Ramsey with the knock here. They're keeping him on. They've got Fisher with a knock on the bench, which is maybe why they're not making that change, because it's a knock for a knock. But we've got the throw in here. Blint forward. Given away. Terrible throw. Fernandinho across. David Silva slips it through. Ronaldo is in. And Ronaldo has scored. That's really poor to allow Cristiano Ronaldo a run and space like that. David Silva's through ball. They're such a dangerous team. You cannot make basic mistakes like that. So much space for Silva here. And Ronaldo allowed the run on the defender, which he gets past the keeper and then just finishes it at the near post. He's always going to score. He's always going to be dangerous like that. And we just were not switched on. Now Alvarez. Ball out wide to David Neres. We know he can score goals. He's on the attack. He's tried to do just that, David Neres, but he can't beat Szczesny at the near post. And it's time to make a change or two. Leon Bailey's not had the best game, so let's bring Justin Kluivert on. And maybe just leave it at that for now. See if Kluivert can make his first major contribution for the club since coming back. Might also need to take Barrow off as well in central midfield. And maybe just bring on probably Wijnaldum for Barrow there. 20 minutes left to go. We need a little bit more from the team. Clock running down. Seems to be running out of ideas as well. Maybe take Edouard off or do some Tadic off. Fabio Silva can have a little run out there. Team just looking a bit tired now. I think Juventus look more tired than we do, but 5 minutes left to go. Can we do something? Silva with the free kick for Juventus. Ball sent to the back stick. Bonucci in. It's cleared away to David Silva, and he has finished the game for Juventus there. A very good finish from David Silva. His first goal for the club. And we're now 4-2 down. It shows the difficulty that we're going to have in getting through some of the knockout stages, if we can even qualify for the knockout stages. Starting off with a defeat here, not a good way to go, but we will play Juventus at home. That will give us a chance. Obviously we have 2 games against Dortmund as well, so long as we beat them over both legs, I'm pretty sure we will go through. But a very tight game. I'd say we were the better team, and it's really disappointing to lose in the way that we did there, 4-2. I'm just going to try and keep the team on a high after a game like that, because there's not a lot you can really do there. But it means we are now 3 points behind the 2 teams trying to qualify alongside us. And looking ahead, we do have 2 Eredivisie games, and then that Borussia Dortmund game in the Champions League. Then probably a few games that we can just play through offline, maybe up to the PSV game, depending on how they're doing in the league at that point. So next time, I think we'll probably do Borussia Dortmund and Volendam, which could be a nice win, because I think they're newly promoted. And then there's a bit of a stretch really until we get to the next big game, which will be against maybe Juventus and then Dortmund. So a little bit of a way to go there. We will crack through a lot of the early season because we don't want to spend too much time grinding out Eredivisie games on the way to another league title. But if you have enjoyed that defeat to Juventus and the 7-0 win and everything that's come with it with deadline day, do drop a like down below. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. And until next time, see ya.